Hey guys, Frank here and welcome to another episode of Digital Classroom. Today about a shot that I took during the workshop in Braschaat in Belgium. Look at this shot. So how did I shoot something like this? It's actually not that interesting, to be honest, but I wanted to point out something else. Now, recently, Geekoto launched the Lantern modifier. And one of the things that I love about the Lantern is that the first time when you look at it, you go like, oh, that's great for product photography or newborn photography, because it doesn't have that black sides, but it actually has translucent sides. So that means that the light doesn't just travel forward, but also emits from the sides. And that's great for that kind of photography, right? But for portrait photography, so I'm using it here straight on our model Flora, and in all essence it works the same as a big softbox because you're just emitting the light straight forward. You have a little bit more spill light, of course, but in essence it works exactly the same as a softbox. It gets more interesting when we start to move the lantern to the side of our model. Now, as you know, with normal softboxes, if you move it to the side of your model, you create more contrast. Very simple, you create a shadow area and you create a lighter area, creating contrast, but also creating three-dimensionality. Now, the problem with a normal softbox is you aim that right at your model, you also light the backdrop. But as soon as you start moving that to the side, now the backdrop can be a little bit too dark, especially when you're using that Rembrandt lighting, where you're already aiming that light a little bit more from the back forward. Getting some nice lens flares in there, and of course that Rembrandt lighting. And then at that moment, there's always a little bit too little light on our backdrop. And that's where the lantern really shines. Now, in this case, we had a concrete backdrop, but look what happens when I move that lantern to the side. You can now see that the sides of the light also lit the concrete backdrop, creating a beautiful light fall off. Now, imagine this with a darker backdrop. And the lantern is an awesome softbox to use at the side of your models and also create a nice light fall off on the backdrop. So in your studio, I would highly recommend having a normal softbox, of course, because then you can steer the light because they're also dark on the sides, but also the lantern, because how often does it happen that you place your lights on the side of your model and you think, man, that backdrop really needs a little bit of light. And then you start adding a second light, you start working with angles, and it never really works out well under every single angle. When you use one light source, you don't have that problem anymore. And it saves you a lot of money because the lanterns aren't that expensive. So anyway, let's take a look at the lighting setup during this workshop and of course the final results of the workshop. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed the small behind the scenes video. Of course, we don't have a lot of scenes, but you get the idea, right? If you have any questions, feel free to reach out on our social media, leave comments below. And if you want to visit one of our workshops, check out photographyworkshops.eu. I will leave the link here. And by the way, we have them in European and in Dutch. So see you again next time. Bye.